Hello everyone, are you confused about which form of verb you should use? So today we will talk about tenses and their uses, some basic rules. So let's get going. Our rule number 1 is modals or modal verbs. The verbs like can, could, may, might, would, shall, must, should, and ought are called modal verbs or modals. They are used with ordinary verbs to express and see meanings such as possibility, permission, certainly, etc. With modals, we should use first form of the verb, that is V1. For example, she should go for a walk daily. I can speak French. Our rule 2 is past modals. Modal verbs could have, would have, and should have. These past tense modals are useful for expressing your present feelings about a past action or decision. Past modals tell us what could have, would have, and should have happened. So remember, with could, would, or should plus have, we use third form of the verb. For example, she could have gone to any college she wanted to. Our rule 3 is with passive voice we use third form of the verb. You must be knowing that. For example, cricket is being played by boys. If you get a modal and the sentence is also in passive voice, then also we use third form of the verb. For example, it must be kept in mind by the students to be honest with their teachers. Must is a modal, be indicates and by indicates passive voice, so we'll use third form of the verb. Let's see our rule number 4. When be is given in brackets, we fill the blank with is, am, are, was, were, being, and been accordingly. With if we use would have. You should remember that. Example, Anita was severely injured in the accident and she would have died if the ambulance had not arrived. Would is highlighted because it is a modal, and if is given, so we'll use would have. And you already know that with past modal we use third form of the verb. Our rule number 5 is if in the sentence since or for is mentioned, then we use has or have plus been plus ing. Example, my mother has been cooking for 2 hours. Since I have been working for an hour, I am feeling tired. Let's take a look at the different tenses and the verb forms used in each tense. In simple present or present indefinite, we use first form of the verb and s or es if it's singular. In present continuous or present progressive, we use is, am, are plus first form of the verb plus ing. In present perfect, we use has or have plus third form of the verb. In present perfect continuous, we use has or have plus been plus first form of the verb plus ing. In simple past or past indefinite, we use second form of verb only. In past continuous or past progressive, we use was or were plus first form of the verb plus ing. In past perfect, we use had plus third form of verb. In past perfect continuous, we use had been plus first form of the verb plus ing. In simple future or future indefinite, we use shall or will plus first form of the verb. In future continuous or future progressive, we'll use shall or will plus be plus first form of the verb plus ing. In future perfect, we will use shall or will plus have plus past participle, that is the third form of the verb. With future perfect continuous, we will use shall or will plus have been plus first form of the verb plus ing. So this was an overview of verb form used in tenses. Now we will look at present tense uses, starting with simple present tense. The simple present tense is used A. to express universal truths and situations or facts that are permanent, as 2 and 2 make 4, mosquitoes carry malaria, gases expand when heated, the soul is immortal. B. To express habitual actions. The main use of simple present tense is to express habitual actions, that is, those actions which people perform repeatedly, as cats drink milk, that is, cats are in habit of drinking milk. He goes to bed late at night. Simple present tense does not tell us whether or not the action is being performed at the moment of speaking, but refers to the actions that usually take place in course of time. If we want to refer to the exact time of speaking, we must add a verb in present continuous tense. For example, my dog barks a lot, but he is not barking at the moment. Next example, Monica is singing. She usually sings at about this time. We can be more precise about habitual actions by using simple present with adverbs of frequency, such as always, never, ever, usually, and occasionally, or with adverbial phrases like every day, twice a year, every week, or on Sundays, etc. For example, I always like people who tell the truth. She sometimes buy rice from this shop. I practice speaking French every day. They go to park on Sundays. So remember that with adverbial phrases or adverbs of frequency, we use simple present tense. Point C. To express actions in the immediate present. To express what is actually taking place in the immediate present. For example, here comes the leader. Next, see how it looks. To express things that happen in a flash, often in our minds. For example, I agree with you. We remember her name. I rely on your support. I believe her statement. When somebody is showing people how to do something, make a cake, for example, we use present tense. Point D. To indicate the present period. The simple present is used to refer events, actions, or situations which are true at present and which may continue indefinitely. In these cases, we just indicate the situation as it stands at the present period of time. For example, my brother works in a factory. Our house has large windows. He studies at St. Stephen College. Point E. To express a future fixed action. Simple present tense is used for a planned future action or a series of actions. This use is often related to timetables, programs, and events in the calendar. Travel agents use it in a good deal. For example, the school holidays begin the next week. The match begins at 5 p.m. and ends at 7 p.m. We leave Delhi next Monday and arrive in Bombay on next Tuesday. We spend 2 hours in Bombay and proceed. Point F. In dramatic narratives, the simple present tense can be used for a dramatic narrative to describe the action of a play, opera, etc. It is also used by radio and television commentators at sport events, public functions, etc. Examples: when the curtain rises, Anthony enters with Caesar's body. There is peace and silence, Antony delivers his historic speech and turns the mob against the conspirators. Next example, the anxious spectators wait for the match to start. Here comes the referee with a whistle in his hand. The ball goes up in the air and the match starts with excitement. Let's see uses of present continuous tense. Number 1. Action in progress at the time of speaking. We use present continuous tense to denote actions or events which are in progress at the time of speaking. In order to emphasize this, we often use adverbs and adverb phrases of present time like now, just, at the moment, etc. For example, I am working at the moment, someone is knocking at the door, why are you still at my desk? They are just rushing to catch the train. Point 2. Temporary situations. We use present continuous tense to describe situations and actions happening for a particular period of time, but not necessarily at the moment of speaking. For example, what is your sister doing these days? She is teaching French at Calcutta University. She may not be teaching at the moment of speaking. We also use this tense to describe current trends. For example, young people are becoming aware of their rights these days. People are becoming less tolerant of smoking. Point 3. Plan future actions. Present continuous tense is used to refer to activities and events planned for the future. Adverbial phrase, example, the next month, in future, etc., is generally used to make the future reference clear in the context. For example, we are going to Shimla next year. I am meeting my uncle tomorrow. Are you doing anything tomorrow evening? Point 4. Repeated actions. The present continuous form, together with adverbs of frequency, always, forever, repeatedly, constantly, etc., can be used to describe continually repeated actions. For example, he is forever talking in the class. She is always helping the poor. The present continuous, when it refers to something that happens too often, may imply a complaint or the annoyance of the speaker. Tom is forever suffering from headache in the office. Note the difference in the meaning of the following sentences. Jim is always doing homework. Jim always does his homework. Sentence 1 in the present continuous tense implies that Jim spends too much time on homework. Sentence 2 in the simple present tense implies that Jim does his homework regularly. Now let's see the use of present perfect tense. The present perfect tense is a sort of a mixture of present and past. It can be seen as a present tense which looks backward into the past. I have been in school since June shows a connection between past and the present. It means I am still in school, which is present time, and I have been here starting from June. June is now in the past time. The following pair of sentences illustrates the difference between present perfect and simple past tense. For example, he has not come this evening. That is, up to the present time, it is still in evening. He did not come this evening. That is, the evening has now passed. Present perfect tense is used, number 1, to describe the actions or events beginning in the past and continuing up to the present moment. The present perfect tense with adverbial phrases suggests the meaning up to the present. Adverbial phrases like now, before, so far, till now, up to the present, it is the first time, are used with present perfect. Because such phrases connect the past with present time. Furthermore, adverbs like even in the question and not, ever, or never in statements are commonly used with present perfect. For example, I have read 50 pages so far this morning. Have you ever seen a lion? I have never seen a lion before. The present perfect tense expresses a past action, the results of which still continue, as I have known him for 10 years. It implies that I still know him. He has been ill since last Sunday. We haven't seen her for many weeks. The present perfect tense with since and for. Since and for are often used with present perfect tense to refer to a period of time up to the present. Since is used with a point in time and means from that point to the time of speaking. It is always used with a perfect tense. Tom has been here since 4 o'clock and is still here. For is used with a period of time, for 2 days, for 1 hour, for a long time. For, used with present perfect tense, denotes a period of time extending into the present, as I have lived in the hostel for 2 years and still live there. On the other hand, for used with simple past denotes a terminated period of time. I lived in the hostel for 2 years, but I do not live there now. Let's look at the difference in meaning between the following pair of sentences. He has been here since last month. He has been here for the last month. In the first sentence, last month means a point of time about 30 days ago. In the second sentence, the last month means the period of 30 days that has just finished. An important note: or with the period of time is often used with the present perfect tense but can be used with any tense with different meanings. Note the difference of meaning in the following sentences. Tom has lived here for 2 years and he still lives here. It means Tom lived here for 2 years. He does not live here now. It means Tom is here for 6 weeks. Period for which he is going to stay here. It means. Point 2. Present perfect for actions occurring at an unspecified time. The present perfect tense for recent action. The present perfect tense used with the following adverbs refer to the recent complete or incomplete actions, as given below. Present perfect tense in typical contexts. This tense is very often used in broadcast and newspapers to introduce an action which will then be described in simple past tense. The time of action is normally given in the second sentence as 7 dreaded terrorists have escaped from Tihar jail. They used a rope, climbed a 15-foot high wall and escaped in a stolen jeep. The finance minister has decided to hike the price of petroleum products. His decision was announced yesterday and was received with mixed feelings. The present perfect tense is often used in letters also. Thank you for your letter which I have just received. I am sorry I have not written to you for a long time. I have been extremely busy preparing for the final examination. Now that the examination is over, I have many things to tell you. Now let's look at present perfect continuous tense. Yeah, this is the last tense. Let's look at some uses. Point 1. Action in progress throughout a period. Present perfect continuous tense is used in place of present perfect when we want to emphasize that something has been in progress throughout a period. For example, she has been dancing here since morning and is still dancing here or has just finished dancing. She has been dancing here for 3 hours and is still dancing or has just finished. Note: in the present perfect continuous tense, we use since to indicate the starting point of the time of the action and for to indicate the period of time. This is illustrated in the examples given above. Point 2. With verbs suggesting continuity. The present perfect and the present perfect continuous tense are often interchangeable with continuity verbs. Such verbs are learn, lie, live, reign, sit, sleep, study, wait, work, etc., which suggest continuity. Look at these sentences. I have worked for 10 years. I am still working. I have been working for 10 years. I am still working. So, the first sentence was present perfect tense and the second sentence was in present perfect continuous tense. So, both are interchangeable with continuity verbs, meaning both will be correct. Point 3. Repeated actions. The present perfect continuous tense expresses an action which is apparently uninterrupted or repeated often. This tense is not used when we mention the number of times a thing has been done. For example, I have been knocking at the door. I don't think anybody is in. In this example, have been knocking suggests that the speaker has been knocking without any interruption. If the number of times he has been knocking is mentioned, we use present perfect tense. It is important to note this sentence. I have knocked 10 times at the door. I do not think anyone is in. Here are some more examples. I have been painting boxes since breakfast. So it is in present perfect continuous tense. I have painted 5 boxes since breakfast. So it is in present perfect tense because the number of time is mentioned in the sentence. Next example. Sparrows have been building nests since last week. Sparrows have built 3 nests since last week. Point 4. For an unfinished action. Generally speaking, in English language, the difference between an activity still in progress and one which has been completed is indicated by the context in which the verbs are often used. Often, the present perfect continuous tense is used to express an action which is not completed, while the present perfect tense is used to indicate an action which is finished, as we have been building the house. We will move in when it is finished. The job is unfinished. We have built the house. Doesn't it look good? The job is completed. She is still in the kitchen. She has been cooking all morning. She has cooked a lovely meal which she'll serve to us in a short time. Tom has dug the onion patch in the garden, so we can plant onions today. Tom is still in the garden. He has been digging since morning. So these were the examples for present perfect continuous tense for an uncompleted action and present perfect tense which is used to indicate the finished action. I hope you understood. Point 5. Drawing conclusions. The present perfect continuous tense is used for drawing conclusions based on some evidence, as the room stinks. Someone has been frying fish here. Amina's eyes are red. It is obvious she has been crying. This was the part 1 of the video. Part 2 and part 3 will be soon out there. Subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching this video.